And
Um, Tell us how you found out about the gospel. You and Mom met the missionaries and learned about the church, and you were baptized while you were in, I guess, Vermont.
yeah,
Before that,
yeah.
so tell us about that. How did that happen? How did you learn about the church?
This was in the 1960s, and we lived. I can't remember Bill. I can't remember his name either.
Okay.
Bill. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Anyway, he was a relatively young man with some children, animals, lived like a kind of on top of a hill, kind of almost like a hermit type environment in terms of getting there and going up a hill in the middle of winter. But anyway, he liked the isolation,
Okay.
and he was also a strong Republican.
Okay.
And we went to saw something in the paper, I think, that we went to a park or something, that we had posters up there for him.
Okay.
And we met him, and he was a Mormon, and that appealed to Sally.
Okay.
So that's why we went there.
Okay.
And then she got visiting the missionary. Bill was his name.
Yeah.
He said, so he invited the missionaries to come over and talk to Sally and I. So we did, and the election was held. This was the House of Representatives, and the House seat that he was trying to unseat was Aiken. I think it's George Aiken, I believe his name was. And he was the current senator and had been for like 2 or 3 decades.
Wow.
And in the House. And he socialized with us. I think we went out together once, and we went to a Aaronic priesthood meeting up in Royalton, Vermont,
Okay.
and we did some. I think we went to a fireside there, and it's an interesting thing because at that fireside I became acquainted with Paul Dunn. Now you probably know Paul Dunn. Well, anyway, he used to give periodic meetings. He drove from the headquarters in Cambridge to there, and went to meetings up there. Aaronic priesthood outing, I believe it was called.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they do that or not now, but I don't know what they do now. So anyway, and that's about, I don't know what.
Okay. So it was meeting. So Bill and his family. Sort of
Yeah,
introduced
yeah, and okay, and
Mom.
then an interesting twist on all of that is that I think she and I both wanted to be good Mormons, in the sense that we wanted to make sure that we got that we felt that well placed there, that's where we belonged, and so forth.
Yeah.
And let's see, I'm losing track here. Well, go on. It'll come to me.
Okay. So I just remember you. I remember starting to have like family home evenings and
Yeah.
food
We
storage.
did.
And
Yeah.
those types of things started when we were little kids. So it was about that time. Can you tell us about your mom and dad, about their religion, about going to church with them? Did you go to church with them a lot?
Reluctantly.
Were they active in their church?
They had we were young. Were they active? Yeah, I think they were active, but only to some level. It wasn't, all the time. They had the real place for religion in their life. They would go to church most of the time, but not all the time.
Okay.
And it was a
And what faith were they? What church did they go?
it was a Protestant, United Church of Christ. So it's a Protestant church, and like many Protestants, they're not well known for their church
Attendance?
and that's just the Protestant church.
Okay.
If you're lucky, you get somebody that's entertainment and keeps the women awake, and
Okay.
so anyway,
So that was your. So you weren't very religious growing up, personally, as a teenager.
nope,
What about your sisters?
no,
So all kind of the same.
yeah, whole family,
Whole family. Your mom and dad too.
yeah.
Okay. So how did they react when you became a Mormon? Or did they react?
Well, I was out of the household and, out doing my own thing, and I had a life of my own, and I think they respected that.
Okay.
And so, I just think they said, well, okay, he's going to do that, and we'll see. And my mother was a great believer in saying that some things there'll be things to be taken care of. So, and then she would say that when people are sick, she'll say, it'll happen. Yeah. Some things will happen.
Okay.
So anyway,
Can you tell me your, I don't know, a favorite memory or a memory of your dad? Something about your dad you remember?
well, my dad was kind of like he was a high school math teacher, head of the math department in Saugus High School. And so I came along in 1940, and it wasn't particularly.
Were you close to your dad? Did you talk to him a lot? Or did
No, he didn't. I'm kind of reluctant to show feelings and everything, but he
even worse?
I just kept distance about him, all the family members.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would say stayed at a distance. That's the way I would phrase it.
Really? Why do you think that was?
I don't know. I think maybe I don't know. My sister Alice was she's still living. You know that. Okay. She's in her 80s now, and
Did she have bad experiences with him?
I don't think so. I think that what the bad thing was that things weren't allowed to boil up and resolve themselves or take some action. It's just kind of like, let's just shovel it off in the corner and leave it like just go on with life.
Yeah. Okay.
No
Don't deal
no
with the conflicts.
changes. They didn't really feel a need other than for the basics, food,
Okay.
fuel,
Yeah.
and so anyway.
Okay. Tell me about your mom. What some memories of your mom that are really
Oh, she was the main caretaker in the household.
okay?
I mean, she was the one that did all those things at that time in the 1940s that they were doing. They were having a small house built if they were lucky, and If not, then, so my parents, I think they rented a house for a couple of years.
Oh,
Then
really?
they got into the house. And the house they bought was suburban Boston and Saugus, you know where that is.
32 Prospect Street.
Yeah, and so I
Did
lo-
you, did you see extended family? Did you have uncles and aunts come?
yeah, they did, and mostly their relationship was one of a vacation. Let's put it that way. My uncle, my dad's brother, he had a farm, a small family farm back in Maine when there was such a thing there.
Okay.
And my dad was a school teacher, so he was off for the summer,
Okay.
and he didn't usually work during the summer. Now he might have before I came along. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think he was a teacher. He's conscientious. He would tutor students in mathematics in our home at my dad's desk, and he would teach these kids that are having trouble with trigonometry and so forth, So
That's great
it was
summer
kind of a
activity.
what?
That's great summer fun.
Yeah, but anyway, he went to Maine 2 weeks every summer
Okay.
because he wanted someplace to go and do something, and we did as a family go on some outings. We went camping in a park up in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Like a tent. You bring a tent in.
Bring
and
a
you,
tent and just camp.
Yeah, whereas none of this RV
running water.
$500,000 or anything like that. This was the basic, and it's so basic that I had the gear I had, the cot, and I think it had an awning out in front and so forth, and then the main tent. Well, I'll tell you. This was out of the Army's storehouse at the end of World War II. There's all kinds of this equipment.
I'll bet there's a lot.
But this stuff was like I think you could put an automobile on it and it wouldn't tear it.
That's pretty good canvas.
I mean, it was just heavy as all get out. And, my sisters and I, and it just like, God, it was always a pain. So you always had the neighbor lift this heavy thing up on poles.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, it's a long
He
series.
did not like camping. That's what I'm getting.
I don't think he did, but I think he liked the idea that he was getting out.
Okay.
He was getting out doing something different.
Okay.
Had enough teaching for a while, for a couple of months in the summer, and just got rid of it.
Now, what about your mom's family? Do you remember doing anything with her?
Not much. My
Was she from Maine too? Was she from Maine?
no, she was the one that whose husband was the police chief that tracked down my tricycle.
Okay, that was her dad.
That was him, and he was he was a cop all his life,
Really?
for
So
like
tough guy.
three decades or more, possibly. And he was the head of the chief. He was a chief officer.
And he'd lived his whole life there in Saugus.
He lived on
as a
there,
police
like
officer.
two streets over from where my parents built their house,
Okay.
and got into a house, I think in 19 I think in the 1920s, maybe, no, 1928.
Okay.
And when 1928, he got into a house, a used house, and paid something like $1,800 or something like that for that. It's, you've seen the house. It's small,
Yeah.
but it's a good location, and it's at that time General Electric had a lot of manufacturing going on, and they needed the help and the union members, and so there was some conflicts, but union was very active in the town because of the one General Electric.
The one General Electric plant.
Yeah, they had a lot of weight.